Hey everybody, how we doing?
Morning, everybody.
Joe here.
Kevin?
All right, so part two. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes, the first half of the episode we had a lot of fun with. It's lighter, but we're expecting something to take a
Yeah,
turn.
it's a two-part premiere of The West Wing. There's no way that serious issues aren't broached moving forward here. We're just waiting for the ball to drop,
Yeah.
kind of a little bit, as far as like, okay, what's going to spin out, what's going to go wrong, what's going to be a big takeaway. But there's going to be something, right?
Oh yeah,
This was a really nice setup in the first, and obviously when it played on television, it played as one long 2 hour episode.
yeah.
So we didn't really get there.
No.
Having it split like this could probably kind of hacks off an important part of the episode. It's like,
Sure.
well, you got your setup, but not your punchline.
Yeah.
Yet really.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some other actors that show up in the second half of the episode that we haven't seen yet. We could be wrong.
Right.
Obviously, the show likes to focus on core dilemmas, and yeah, we're back in the office now. He's off the road for the time being, or today. You know, he had a big campaign. They were in Philly, right?
They were in Indiana.
Indiana.
Right.
But CJ said they were going to Philadelphia as well.
I don't know where they were. Yeah, but they were traveling.
They were traveling regardless. And yeah, we ended the last episode with him in the office, and he met the very young congressman from Texas.
Right. Basically, the idea is we're following the president's schedule.
Yeah.
And this is Sorkin kind of setting up like this is what a day looks like when you're running for president and you're the president.
I think it's interesting.
It is. It's like you don't get to breathe. Really, you don't get to sleep. Look at Sam. There is
Sam,
too
yeah.
much to do. And
Well, we also I don't think it's very common for movies and TVs about elections to really show a current sitting president reelecting him.
yeah, it's new, but I do like what this show is doing is kind of how the show was set up to begin with.
Yeah.
It's not really a show about the president; it's about the people around the president.
The moving pieces.
Yeah, and so we're getting to see kind of a lot of being the president's tough, but working for him's no walk in the park either.
Some ways it's harder.
Right. Look
It's not, but
look at the three people who are lost that are just trying to get back to DC in a quick amount of time. Look at what Sam's going through on this day. Look at what Leo's got to deal with, and how much everybody's trying to take off the plate of the president.
Yes,
because the president's got a ton. That's not diminishing what the president does.
not at all.
But it is impossible for the president to be the one guy that knows and does everything all the time.
They're like hunters and gatherers, right? They go out and they pull all these pieces and pull all these strings, and they bring it back to him. Then he has to like collect all those things and be the face of it.
And they made that kind of point with Richie, right?
Yeah.
Where Josh is like, oh, I like that the fact that Bartlett's a Nobel Prize winner. I'll hire some of those. And Toby's like, that's not what he's saying. He's saying Nobel Prize winners are losers, but don't worry, I'll keep the people around that you think I need to keep around
for the money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of egregious if you really think about how bad Richie is.
Sure. And we were supposed to, right?
We've lived it. So I mean, it's true to life.
Right. It's tough to have somebody in charge, right? Somebody in one of the most important jobs in the world, one of the toughest jobs in the world, who is completely intellectually uncurious, and doesn't seem to really mind that they don't know what they're doing.
It honestly kind of depresses me.
Right.
You should be intellectually curious.
Right. Well, how many you looked at this one deals directly with we remember George W. Bush, from a few years ago, just like we remember Trump from not long ago. And it's like the world is on fire. Is now the time for golf? And we got that kind of with both of them. With Trump, it was like record-setting levels of golf.
My favorite part of that is the fact that he ran his campaign on saying that Obama golfed all the time.
He did say he said I won't have time for golf, and then golfed all the time.
All the time.
Banned cameras from his golf courses because he was getting too much criticism for golfing. Whatever. You can campaign on what you want.
It's your recreation. You want to play golf. Play golf. But at the same time, don't sit there and preach about how the last president did it. You're going to do it way more than he did, and then like while the world is on fire, you're on the golf course.
Right. Yeah, that was tough to watch. It was. I was like, aren't you supposed to be in charge right now?
You just do something?
That's the thing is
figure this out?
Who's in charge? Is somebody in charge? And that just really largely didn't seem to be the case. There was so much time at Mar-a-Lago, and to spin that's okay. Remember what he called it? The Southern White House.
The Southern White House.
It's like, no, I'm really down at my resort, but it's a work resort. Which
When as a president and work at the White House,
I
you
don't
make
know.
sacrifices. That this whole show is about the sacrifices these people have to make to do
Right.
this job. They want to be there.
Sure.
I mean, we talked about how Abby Bartlett had to make a huge sacrifice.
Right, just for her husband. not to
She's
be
the first
enjoyable.
lady.
Right, yeah.
You know, and it's like, where is that? Where is that sentimentality? Like, I don't know. We're kind of going off the rails here a little bit, but you guys understand.
Well, yeah, but the reason this show is popular now, I truly think, is because you have to, when you watch a political show like that, compare it to the time that we're living in.
Sure.
You have to. There is no way around saying, okay, this is how these people, and again, it's not a real White House. It's not obviously an idealized one, but how these people approach this job and the level of reverence that they give to what they're doing and significance and gravitas to it. And then you look at what we actually have going on, and it's like, I'm not saying you guys need to be Jeb Bartlett, but
no, I mean,
you can care.
That's why this show's great, like you said, because in 4 more years, in 5 more years, in 10 more years, looking back on this show,
it'll look different against whatever's going on there.
Yes, and I love that.
I do too.
I love that. That's why this show will be timeless. In 50 years from now,
Right.
people will be watching The West Wing.
Well, it's like how Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. You cannot watch that movie and not say, look at you know, I can't remember Stewart's name in that movie, the character name. It's been a long time. But how how Jimmy Stewart's character in that movie viewed the importance of his position as a junior congressman. And then you look at what we've got today, and it's like, oh, look, Marjorie Taylor Greene said something again that she shouldn't have.
It's honestly, I can't believe you can't stream that movie anywhere. Like, it should be on streaming.
They should be.
Amazon, Max, pick it up, guys. Please.
Yeah, somebody.
You guys need to watch it because it's incredible.
It's a fantastic movie, absolutely. And again, also idealized, also a little hokey.
But that's fine. I feel like
that is fine. Right. Not everything has to be completely cynical.
We should set expectations.
Right. All right. Once again, we do want to welcome Wales 28, Eric Guerrero, and Marina Barreto Pasos to our Patreon group. Thanks so much, guys. We're very happy you're here with us.
We really are. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel.
Hello.
If you'd mind hitting the like button for us, please leave us a comment down below and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the new content we have coming your way.
Yeah, if you'd like to see a full-length reaction to this and everything else we've watched or are currently watching, please check out the link in the description below to our Patreon page. You will find all sorts of content over there on every single show. We're at least 4 episodes ahead on Patreon of where we are on YouTube. So if you get done watching the edit of this on YouTube and want to jump over and keep watching, you can do so on our Patreon page.
Yep. We have the Dow as well.
Ooh,
I forgot about
685. It's another candidate? Oh, no, sorry, never mind.
I told my granddaughter I was meeting you, and how old were you when you met President Hoover?
9 years old.
Oh, but he's got a big stock market crash happening at the same time.
With him, and the next day, the Great Depression started.
Right, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I've got Hoover's good luck charm over here.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about it, I feel like it's ridiculous.
Tokyo opens in 3 hours, and you're gonna drape your arm around the mayor's shantytown.
I didn't know you were superstitious.
I'm sorry. We're gonna have to reschedule this for tomorrow.
Oh, why?
You're spooking the hell out of the president.
That was solid.
A. Bartlett, at this moment, I'm just a wife and mother.
I don't see it.
Well, you gotta want it. Well, I wanted my office to issue a statement saying you're annoying, shut up, but Bruno said to wave at it, and he's right. Yeah. I want to get Anthony a big brother, and Charlie said no, and I thought if it was anything you might be interested in, I could talk to you about it.
You'd know I'd do it if I could.
I do know that, schmutzy pants.
With the secretarial candidates, the last few weeks, Charlie says he's been asking questions about remembering names and numbers.
Don't worry, I'll have Jews for the money stuff. Mohammed Al-Mohammed bin Bazir doesn't make the distinction when he suits up in the morning.
There's gonna be no trouble. The train runs on regular train fuel. Pretty sure.
Toby, I work at the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I tell you something? People are gonna think you're a lot cooler if you don't say that yourself.
Your trouble's at 98 miles right down that track.
Let's attack.
Who?
Kumar. Let's recommend to the president that we attack. There's intel that says that Kumar has a tape.
Of what?
A cell phone call that Sharif made from the plane.
There isn't. Why are they saying there is? It's to provoke a response, right?
Yeah.
And they're using the Act 5 scene from
right, yeah.
Hamlet. Are these Batman villains? Kamar's saying it was someone else.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Israel.
Yeah.
I bet it's Israel.
Who's this afternoon?
Crazy woman that Charlie knows. Hey, do we have a GPS readout on Josh and Toby? Have they been sighted? 300 IQ points between them. They can't find their way home. I swear to God, if Donna wasn't there, they'd have to buy a house. Charlie says I don't want anyone to replace her.
Is that true?
I don't know, Sam. I'm a puzzle.
No idea what's happening in the world.
I bought you the paper.
I read it. Preparations are underway for the fair.
He also thinks Sarajevo and Bosnia are two different countries, so that's a bit of a setback for the region. Yes? Do you think, honestly, do you think he's ever said to one of his advisors, I've got a different idea?
That's a great point.
That is a great point.
Because when he was asked if he'd continue the current U.S. policy in China, and he said, first off, I'm going to send him a message, meet an American leader.
This isn't a crisis. It's investors getting back to common sense.
Well, it's an election year, Bill. We'd rather people didn't exercise common sense. But you hired Charlie, huh?
Well, I worked in the office of presidential personnel, and he'd come into the wrong office.
Who is in second place? Who did I almost get?
Sir?
I like to think about the road not taken.
It was a young man named David Dweck.
David Dweck?
I used to call him David Dweck, Wanadwinkle-Wawa.
The dollar's down 0.3% against the yen, 0.4% against the euro. Frankfurt opens in 8 hours.
Why were you fired?
No particular reason.
I'm now ordering you to tell me why you were fired.
Well, I'm afraid we're at a classic impasse. I was interviewing.
Charlie,
hang on.
how many times do we have I to... know, but I brought her in.
It doesn't matter. I'm not getting
It does matter, Mr. President. I assure you, whatever she told you...
She didn't tell me anything. I ordered her to, and she... By the way, my powers of ordering are a joke.
Was she funny?
Yeah.
Have the agent stop her at the door for a second.
Yes.
What's the dollar doing right now?
Oh, it's down 0.3% against the yen, 0.4% against the euro.
Hang on a second. 2 pipe bombs were set off inside the Geiger Indoor Arena, which is the swimming team's facility at Kennesaw State University. 44 people are dead. Looks like about 100 injured, about 20 critically.
Why is she still on?
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Information that they were pipe bombs is coming from witnesses are saying there were swimmers in the water at the time of the explosion.
Oh my God.
I don't think there's been much discussion about motives.
This is that song they're talking about in the first episode.
Okay. Yeah, good catch. I don't know this song.
I don't either. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
3 swimmers from the men's team were killed and 2 others are in critical condition. Ran into the fire. The streets of heaven are too crowded with angels tonight. But every time we think we've measured our capacity to meet a challenge, we look up and we're reminded that that capacity may well be limitless.
Anthony, I'm so sorry. Thank you for waiting. This thing came up at the last minute.
Saturday morning. It's entirely up to you.
I love that.
I do too.
I love that. That's fantastic.
That was a really good moment right there.
Oh, man.
Nice job on the speech.
What makes you think I wrote it?
We did not seek, nor did we provoke. Richard and I split.
Hello.
My dad said you staffed the president today.
Yes.
How was it?
I had one good moment talking about the global ripple effect of a budget deficit, but that was it. The rest of the day was just keeping up. I gotta get back in there. That's where it's happening.
The picture's from Deanna. I just put it in a frame. I've had it in my office for about a week. I just keep forgetting to give it to you.
Oh.
What a gut punch.
Yeah.
I have such an impulse to knock your heads together. Kathy needed to take a second job so her dad could be covered by her insurance. She tried to tell you how bad things were for family farmers. You told her we already lost Indiana. Random conversations with 12 more, and nobody brought up Bartlett versus Ritchie but you. I'm writing letters on your behalf to the parents of the kids who were killed today. Can I have the table, please?
She's right.
She's most of the time.
I mean, their job is to talk about this stuff, but they do have tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Where do you take your oldest to look at colleges? It's an incredible feeling. And I spend half the day thinking about what happens if I slip and fall down on my own front porch. And I like that it's hard. Putting your daughter through college, that's a man's job. But it should be a little easier. Just a little easier.
I'm Toby Ziegler.
That'd be a good time to do it.
It would be, actually, yeah. I work at the White House.
Let's talk.
I work at the White House.
We have reason to believe that in the next 48 hours, the Kumari rescue team will announce that they've recovered a military-issue Israeli-made parachute.
Which is to say it was us, but insulate you.
I signed a piece of paper, Fitz.
I can walk to work from there.
Yeah, I'll hop out there too.
Please, not this again. I'll get out with them up here.
They're all going into work. After a 20-hour day, they're going to work.
Oh, man.
If our job teaches us anything, it's that we don't know what the next president's going to face. Instead of telling people who's the most qualified, instead of telling people who's got the better ideas, let's make it obvious.
That's such a... Oh.
Instead of going home and going to bed after all of this, they're walking up to work. Yep.
Sense of duty, man. It's just... It's... What a phenomenal show.
I don't know what bridge this is, but it looks amazing.
It really does. The focus is on them, so it blurs the lights a little bit. I love this. And of course, that's where we're going to end.
Is it? Is that already? Wow. That felt fast.
40 minutes?
I don't know how long this was.
I mean, yeah, 43. Wow. All right.
Wow, that was the whole episode.
Didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. That was fast.
I want to watch the next one.
For sure.
Okay. Well, it's. I'm gonna say this is the same episode, obviously, but because they split into two parts, I feel like the second half was stronger. Because the first half was all set up, and
it was also payoff. Right, it was payoff for the setup for sure.
Great moments in the first one, obviously.
Right.
The second half though was powerful. I mean, obviously with the bombings.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. The guys that died because they ran back in kind of got me pretty choked up.
That got me choked. It is heroism. I mean, I feel like there is something to say about heroism there, and it's something to admire. As far as the rest of the episode goes, I mean, I like that Charlie is going to be the big brother. They hinted at it in the first episode, but I mean,
I was wondering when it would come back to him.
Charlie's got a full plate.
Since we started with him.
I'm glad that he can work with the kid. And he can get him there at 9 a.m. That's good. Get the kid up early.
Yeah.
Get breakfast. Can play some ball.
Yeah, this is my free time. You're joining me on that.
Love that.
I love the fact that Charlie stood up for CJ there.
Yeah.
Not just standing up for CJ because she's a press secretary, but because she's a person, right? Even if she wasn't the press secretary, you still don't talk to people like that.
You don't talk to ladies that way. Right. You don't talk to a person that way.
A person, right? Yeah, absolutely. Just a human being. Yeah.
And I think Charlie's a fantastic role model.
Yeah, he is. He's perfect for that guy.
And I hope we see the kid more. And I don't want Simon to just be forgotten. I want them to kind of like work through that. You know.
Sure. I definitely think we've set up that kid. What's his name? AJ? Why am I thinking AJ? Is it AJ?
It sounds right.
Sorry, I can't remember right. But I'm glad that he's gonna at least every once in a while be on the show. I think he should.
Sure.
Because I think we should probably get more of Charlie because that guy has dimension, and it's taken a long time to really start seeing it on the show.
A lot of the great moments in the show kind of belong to him.
Yeah, they do for sure.
The scene where Bartlett gives him the carving knives was one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah,
and look what he did for Lily Tomlin's character.
Right. We're definitely going to see more of her.
I love that. I thought it was fantastic. The whole setup for I'm Toby Ziegler. I work at the White House.
That's just not great.
It's just a lesson.
It starts as a punch. It starts as a punchline, and then it's poignant by the end.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's just good writing. That's Aaron Sorkin crushing it.
I just love that he has big ideas about the world and our government, and the fact that he can vent those ideas into the show, and create this this dream scenario, basically,
where people working in the government actually view the government as an instrument for good, which it absolutely is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It always weirds me out, or I don't know if that's the right phrase, when you see like politicians who are in the government, like Congress people, like the government sucks, they're terrible, and they're trying to destroy your lives. I'm like, the government's you. What are you talking about?
I know. If we could just all get along.
I know, right? How about you do something then? Write a bill that gives people access to health care.
Yeah. Maybe that. Yeah.
Come up with a plan so that crazy people can't buy an AR-15 and shoot up an elementary school. How about we start with little things like that?
Then we can work on affordable college.
Yeah.
And teacher.
Look, how about you write a bill that makes things 0.2% better for people?
That's a great start.
And then do the next one after that.
People instead of the game plan of what's in it for me.
Well, right, and how do I make the person I don't want you to like look bad?
Yeah.
Instead of actually doing something positive myself.
Well, they addressed that in this episode. You want to beat him, I want to win.
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge difference.
There's a difference, right?
And
Absolutely.
it's a fantastic line, and we should make that we should be able to see that as voters.
It was good writing, yeah.
Politicians should have that mindset, but no, it is. I want to beat them so they never run again.
Other side bad, me good, and that's it. Without quantifying.
It shouldn't be that way,
right?
Look, I'm not an advocate for this. I promise this story has a point. I'm not an advocate for Joe Rogan's podcast, but recently he had of all people, Taylor Sheridan on, which I was like, okay, this is going to be bad, but I like some of his movies. So I listened to it, and they were talking about all the mudslinging going on today.
Sure.
And I actually agreed with what they had to say. He was like, I mean, if you look back at when Reagan was debating, oh my God, I can't remember who it was.
Mondale?
Okay. And he was talking about Reagan's age.
Right.
And it was a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
And then Reagan had the great line of, well, I'm not going to excuse my candidate for his youth and lack of inexperience. And they both laughed and shared that moment, you know what I mean? And like the fact that that even Mondale could laugh at that, and they shared that, and they had respect for one another, and it wasn't this gross back and forth, mudslinging fest, basically. Right. And the fact that they could actually joke and have respect for one another, that's just gone.
Oh, it is. I remember when Obama was running in 2008 against McCain, and some crazy lady in the crowd was, he was doing a Q&A with audience, and one of them's like, the Muslim thing. I can't stand him. He's a Muslim.
He shut it down.
He shut it down. He grabbed the mic back and said, "No, he's not a Muslim."
No, he said, "No, ma'am."
No, he's not. You can not like him. You can hate his policies, but that is just factually not true. And like there, any politician, I feel like any person in leadership, they all give you reasons to not support them, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in this policy. They support this policy. Therefore, I think it's the wrong person. Sometimes their behavior can be detestable, right? This person said this. This person did this. I cannot defend that in any way, right? Sometimes you can say they belong in prison and even mean it, but it all has to be factual. That's where the line is. If I have to read one more meme of Michelle Obama is a woman or a man,
I know. I'm
like, what is it? What are we even doing here?
It's because we're giving voices to people.
The internet gives voice to anybody, right? Including people have nothing to say. Sure,
we have to just pick and choose what we see,
Right. The anniversary for January 6th, the 3-year anniversary was, a couple days ago. And I saw an awful lot online about, this was all a big setup by the FBI and the government and the Democrats to make Trump look bad. It was a false flag, blah, 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 blah. And again, it's okay not to like Joe Biden. It's okay to love Donald Trump. It really is. But your reasons have to be real. When your reasons aren't fact-based or based in reality at all, then they're not reasons. Then they're just nonsense.
Worse than that, I saw people were having parties. I'm like, really? An insurrection party? Like,
insurrection party? We almost overthrew the government.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
We've obviously wandered off topic here, but I feel like this episode, I feel like this episode kind of drudged that up. We're in election season on the show.
Yeah.
What is election season about? Well, in 2023, election season is about who can get the zingers out. Yeah. How can you out ugly the other guy to get voters riled up? Owning the libs is a phrase you hear a lot, and that works both ways too.
At some point, somebody has to take the high ground,
right? Some people, and again, the facts have to be on your side when you make a fact-based statement.
Yeah,
that's just how it works.
Yeah,
I don't care how many people say the Earth is flat. We know that's not true. We know that's not true.
Yeah, we know that for a fact.
And that's kind of our politics wanders off on who gets the best zinger line. There's a reason that Donald Trump got a lot of credit for being the funny guy during the debates in 2016 because he could say the lowest denominator things, right? The grossest things about people.
And if you stoop that low, that's what people are going to remember. They're not going to remember what you actually accomplished.
People loved it. I remember.
Yeah.
That's back when That's back when I was on Facebook, and I had family members that when Donald Trump said that Ted Cruz, his wife is ugly and his dad killed JFK. People loved that, and I'm like, what are you applauding here?
Still on his corner after that.
Right? Yeah. I don't understand how that is something you look for in your leaders.
I know.
I'm sure if they haven't already, there will be dissertations written about the Donald Trump effect and how we just stopped caring about
When
qualifications.
we flash back to this is fiction, obviously. But
Right.
when you flash back to this and you have a president who's willing to go forward and say, yeah, we assassinated the president of Cuba. You know what I mean?
I'm really excited to see where they go with that.
That's leadership, in my
It
opinion.
is.
It's running into the fire.
Sure.
It's that's heroism. It's doing something without any credit, you know?
Absolutely.
And I love that we can watch this and then we turn it off and we go into the real world and it's like, well, can't wait for Monday.
Right. And by the way, not being partisan here, I promise tomorrow if Joe Biden says the earth is flat, I will be the first one saying you're an idiot to him.
No, absolutely.
This isn't a partisan issue. This is
it's not biasing.
Right. It's all about what are we expecting out of the people that have to make the most important decisions affecting all of us.
Yeah.
All right, guys, catch you on the next one.
See ya.
On Patreon, remember, 2 weeks.
Yep.